Erik Jones and Daniel Suarez are officially off the free agent market. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Let's take a break from the Richmond, Austin Dillon, Joey Logano fallout to talk NASCAR silly season. Also, Sam Hunt of Sam Hunt Racing will join us later in the show. Jeffrey Earnhardt driving the Synergy Modular number 26 this weekend at Michigan. Sam and I will talk about Corey Heim's future prospect, what to expect at Michigan this weekend with the Super Speedway engine package for the Xfinity Series, and much more, so stay tuned. But first, speaking of Michigan, Erik Jones, the 28-year-old Michigan driver, has announced a multi-year extension with Legacy Motor Club. This deal will keep Jones in the number 43 for 2025 and beyond, according to their press release. In that statement, Jones said, quote, "I'm looking forward to what we can build at Legacy Motor Club. I've been with the number 43 car for a handful of years and feel like I'm coming into some of the best years of my career. I'm hoping to grow alongside Legacy in the seasons to come." NASCAR Hall of Famer and Legacy Motor Club co-owner Jimmie Johnson posted this yesterday. "Thrilled to have Erik Jones with the club for the coming years. His talent will be key in turning our program around, and we're ready to give him the tools to race for wins and eventually a championship." Eventually, maybe. It's no secret this year's been a struggle for Legacy Motor Club. Erik Jones is 28th in points. His teammate John Hunter Nemechek is worse. He's 32nd. That's why when this announcement was made yesterday, I think fan response was mixed. There's been some industry speculation that Jones was a candidate for the Spire number 7. Some fans likely believe that is a better opportunity than Legacy Motor Club. And right now, I can't say I blame them. Would you rather drive for a struggling Legacy or an ascending Spire where you could team up with Rodney Childers? I think that answer is pretty easy. But there are a ton of other factors in play, and we don't really know if Erik Jones was truly a leading candidate for the number 7 car. All signs recently point to Justin Haley being the leading candidate for that seat. And while Spire may be the shiny new place to be right now, I still believe Legacy Motor Club is capable of evolving into a desirable destination. Legacy Motor Club is in their first year with Toyota, and they are one of the few teams in the NASCAR Cup Series that don't have a strong technical alliance with an existing powerhouse. 2311 Racing pays Joe Gibbs Racing for access to their data and other information. Legacy Motor Club is not doing that. Instead, they are building their own exclusive notebook, growing their operation, becoming self-sufficient. Don't get me wrong, I have my concerns. Jimmie Johnson says there's a long-term vision, but the team has made numerous leadership changes in recent weeks. Joey Cohen has departed from the team. Bobby Kennedy is now the team's general manager just last week. They hired Jacob Cantor as the team's new competition director. At times it seems tumultuous, but as long as Jimmie Johnson, Maury Gallagher, and Cal Wells share the same long-term vision, I do believe this team is more than capable of evolving into a legitimate contender. Granted, I was a kid back then, my memory's a little hazy, and also granted this was the early days of Toyota being in NASCAR, but it wasn't smooth sailing for Michael Waltrip Racing off the bat either. Took him a couple years to finally win. David Ruderman got him a couple victories. It wasn't until 2012 when Clint Boyer won 3 races that the team finally looked like a legit championship threat. But they did get there eventually. So this notion that Toyota is incapable of having multiple championship contending teams, I don't think is necessarily true. I like Erik Jones. He's about to enter the prime years of his Cup Series career. He's already a 2-time Southern 500 winner. Now, thanks to this multi-year deal, he has some stability. It's time to get to work, to start to realize the team's long-term vision. Jones isn't the only Cup driver to recently sign a new contract. Over the weekend, Trackhouse and Daniel Suarez agreed on a 1-year deal. Suarez will be back in the 99 in 2025, though interesting that both sides described this 1-year agreement as a mutual decision. Suarez specifically said the deal could be extended if both sides are happy with performance. He told reporters this weekend, quote, "There are some things in the contract that activate it for longer if we both decide it's the right thing to do. There's a lot of things with Trackhouse that are adjusting and changing. Performance-wise, we are not exactly where we want to be. Not just the number 99, but the company. And we have to make sure we can fix those before we decide to go longer." Daniel Suarez has run better lately. His last 4 races, he has an average finish of 11th, back-to-back top 10 finishes. Plus, he just won a NASCAR Brazil race during the off period, and Trackhouse is starting to make big moves. They introduced a minority investment group recently and just worked out a deal with Junior Motorsports to get Connor Zilisch a full-time Xfinity Series ride. So things are happening at Trackhouse. Finally, we've been waiting all year, all summer for this Suarez deal to get done. Finally, the dominoes are falling. But let's go back to those very interesting comments from Daniel Suarez. This 1-year contract sounds weird. More from Suarez, he said, quote, "Like I said, we have some things in the contract that even if tomorrow things move in the direction we both think is working, that contract can change very quickly. But we both want to make sure things are clicking and headed the way we want. It's not a secret that the year has been a struggle for Trackhouse performance-wise. We have one car in the playoffs with a win and one struggling to get in on points. We have work to do, and hopefully we get the train in the right direction." Something about that screams to me that neither side is fully satisfied with the other, which, I mean, is fair. For the last year and a half, I know Daniel Suarez is qualified for this year's playoffs, but his results have not been great. Typically, he lags behind his teammate Ross Chastain on the results sheet. And I guess if you're Daniel Suarez, you can look at Trackhouse across the board and see that they've slowed down a bit since 2022. That was their peak. But can I be brutally honest here for a second? If Daniel Suarez was let go by Trackhouse tomorrow, who is rushing to sign him? He's a veteran driver at this point. He probably comes with some funding, no doubt. He's a 2-time Cup Series winner, an Xfinity Series champion. His resume is not bad, but who's signing him? Is Joe Gibbs Racing signing him? No, they're not. Is Penske going to pick him up? No. Is Hendrick going to sign him? Absolutely not. 2311? I don't think so. RFK? I doubt it. So my point is, there's not a better team than Trackhouse out there that would be interested in Daniel Suarez, in my opinion. So when he says it's a mutual decision to go on a 1-year deal, to me that screams Trackhouse isn't really sure what the future holds. They have 5 drivers under contract as of right now, and they only have 2 Cup Series seats, likely 3 if they get a 3rd charter, which we all expect them to. But still, that's going to lead to an uncomfortable game of musical chairs, even if Zane Smith leaves for front row, which some speculate is very likely. There is still going to be an odd man out within the next couple of years, assuming Connor Zilisch continues to develop at the rapid pace he has been. So it just is weird to hear Suarez act like, I'm not sure if Trackhouse is really the place I want to be, performance-wise. Wasn't he the same guy who a couple months ago said there's no place I'd rather be? Not Gibbs, not Hendrick, I'm at Trackhouse. Kind of a different tune. I don't know, I hear those comments from Daniel Suarez and it sounds like, again, neither the driver nor the team have full faith in one another. And they're not committed long-term. Jones got a multi-year deal. Suarez, 1 season. So, I don't know, I guess I appreciate the candidness from Daniel Suarez. He's got a point. There are a lot of moving parts at Trackhouse. I didn't even mention the new MotoGP team. But the way he put it, it sounds weird. Both the driver and the team are auditioning for the other next season. Trackhouse is a good team, a playoff team. Not a championship contending team, at least not right now, but they have that potential. They've shown it in the past. So, I don't know. Those comments were weird. But it is official now. Erik Jones off the market, and so is Daniel Suarez. NASCAR free agency continues to chug along. But now let's bring in NASCAR Xfinity Series team owner Sam Hunt. We've seen a bunch of different drivers behind the wheel of that Toyota, most notably perhaps Corey Heim. We'll ask him about the top NASCAR prospect. Again, I want to give a shout out to Synergy Modular for making this interview possible. They'll be on the 26 car this weekend at Michigan. They become a huge part of the NASCAR ecosystem. Great to have them in the sport. Let's bring on Sam Hunt here on Out of the Groove. I'm now joined by Sam Hunt of Sam Hunt Racing, as well as Justin Stewart of Synergy Modular. Big race coming up this weekend at Michigan International Speedway. Can't wait to ask both of you guys about that. But Sam, it's not too often I get a NASCAR team owner on the show here, so it's great to have you. I've heard others say in the past it can be hard managing so many different drivers and different personalities, especially a team like yours where you've had several different drivers drive the 26 car. Is that Is that challenging, or how do you go about managing so many different drivers behind the wheel of your equipment?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Eric. It's definitely a challenge having, multiple drivers, but I think on the same token, we serve a valuable purpose right now in our garage, which is, we get guys opportunities, whether they're racing another series or, they're trying to break into the Xfinity Series at a higher capacity. So it's honestly, it's a lot of fun being able to work with so many different guys that come from, so many different backgrounds. It's Corey Heim, who's truck racing, or Tyler Reddick, who's cup racing, or we've got journeyman guys like Jeffrey Earnhardt, who's just kind of scratched and clawed and worked so hard to keep his career moving in NASCAR. Even to your Ed Jones or Sage Karams, or guys that come from open wheels and totally different areas of racing. So it's definitely a challenge, but I do really enjoy being able to work with all these guys. And for me, having some guys that are now winning, whether it's in the Xfinity or Cup Series, that have come through this place is definitely a point of pride for me. So, we've been really fortunate, man. Like, we realistically, on paper, we should have never made it this far, and through partnerships, like Toyota TRD, as well as now, Justin and Synergy Modular, it's just kind of given us opportunities to keep growing, and keep improving. And like I said, it is fun to work with guys. I joke Connor Daly drove at Indy and ran his first oval race in a stock car, and it was a great weekend for us, and we were strong. But you know you don't always hear a driver on track say, "Hey, I have no idea what I'm doing. You guys just, spotters, tell me where to be, tell me where to go." Obviously, he's a talented professional race car driver. But, it's fun being able to serve that purpose. And then, on the same token, working with guys like Corey, who we've gotten really close with, who I think is definitely a next level talent. And seeing how hard he works every single day, how hard he studies, it's fun being able to be a piece of so many guys' careers.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique, but it seems like it can be a very rewarding sort of role that you guys serve currently. You started to answer my next question. I did want to ask about Corey Heim, because he's made more starts than any other driver in the 26 this year and has had some really good runs. What have you seen from Corey? You sort of touched on his preparation, but what have you seen from Corey in the Xfinity Series that could translate maybe to the next level one day?
Yeah, I think he prepares so well. No matter, if he's driving our car or he's driving his truck, he really prepares like a professional athlete. And there's nothing he overlooks. There's nothing he doesn't have notes for going into the race. I think to see a guy at his age, I think he's 22, just be so tuned in all the time, regardless of the situation, the vehicle, the situation. I think he's just got maturity that's way beyond his years. And he also understands that he's still learning. And, obviously he's a top prospect, and his dream is to make it to the Cup Series, just like every driver. But he understands the process and understands that it is a process and that he's still learning. And to me, to have a 22-year-old that has that mature of a thought process is really rare. So, other than the fact that he's just a machine, I don't think people realize how hard he does prepare, and how much he's invested into the programs.
Absolutely. Well, before I bring Justin in here and we can talk about Michigan a little bit, Sam, I want to ask about the past few off weeks. What have the folks at Sam Hunt Racing been able to do with this extra time?
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody's asked me how the break is, and it's a stressful time for me, because it's a lot of time with no racing, but with overhead and payroll, and the building's still moving. So
Yeah.
it's stressful. I'm very happy to see my guys get some time away, time with their family. And we've worked on a lot of things internally, whether it be equipment improvements or testing different things on our cars leading into the next couple races. Obviously, we're very far ahead, in the shop. We're finishing up, our Darlington car now, which is still 3 weeks away. So it's been nice to be able to get ahead here. And for me, I just, I love seeing my people in a good place, and for them being able to take some time that they don't usually get in the summer, to be with family and kids. And but I'm definitely, as a business owner, I'm ready to go back to the racetrack because we need to.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is good to get some time off. It's hard to find off time in on the NASCAR calendar these days. So any day, any week is very much appreciated. I'll start with you on this one, Justin. Synergy Modular is on board with Jeffrey Earnhardt in the Sam Hunt Racing number 26 this weekend. What is it about NASCAR, maybe NASCAR fans, that Synergy Modular loves and makes them want to be a part of this sport?
Appreciate it. Appreciate the question. It's really alignment of values. It's alignment of values, and obviously, being in the construction industry, there's a ton of overlap with NASCAR, and it's something that a lot of people in our industry are extremely passionate about. This wasn't a direct route to get here, though. I think Sam knows that, and it was not something we were looking for. It was really more about alignment of values across the Sam Hunt Racing organization, Toyota, and NASCAR itself that led us here. So,
yeah. Well, it's awesome. Well, the car looks great. Have you been to a race before? Do you know what to expect? Do you know what to expect to see at Michigan?
Sure do. I mean, not at Michigan. I haven't been there, but yeah, we've actually been with Sam all season now. So this is going to be our fifth race with Sam this year as the full car and then associate on all the rest. Obviously, an incredible time out there. It's fun to get to hear the inner workings. As a business owner that's working on strategy and the inner workings of a completely different type of business, it's really fun to see it in a little more fast-paced action.
Oh, yeah, fast-paced action. That's a great way to put it. Sam, I'll ask you this. Michigan's going to be interesting this weekend. There's it's a drafting style package. Jeffrey Earnhardt in the car. What do you think you can expect from your team, or what can fans just expect from the race this weekend, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think there's a ton of unknowns, with the package that NASCAR is having us bring. We've never really run this package at Michigan. I know they ran the bunny ears and the draft ducks years ago, but what we're doing here, which is a downforce car with a speedway engine. We just ran at Indianapolis here recently, so I think. For us, there's a lot of unknowns, but having good performance the entire weekend at Indy with the same package definitely gives us confidence. Obviously Jeffrey hasn't been in a car, for a good bit. So, I think some of it's going to be him just kind of getting back up to speed, getting comfortable. He's been in the simulator preparing for this, and I wish I could tell you what to expect, but we're kind of going off of what we saw at Indianapolis, which was a lot of drafting and a lot of momentum. Really ended up being a fun race. I think a lot of us were unsure what to expect, and we're worried it wouldn't be too exciting, but it ended up being really fun. I mean, from our side, from the strategy side, from how you had to have track position, it was fun, and Connor did a good job. So we're kind of leaning on what we learned at Indy, and we're trying to apply it to Michigan. So I don't think anybody really knows, and we won't know till one lap into practice. I think you're going to see some guys very trimmed out, and then some guys more on the downforce side, and we all have to make a decision on how we want to go. And I think half of us after one lap of practice are going to be really happy, and then I think the other half is going to be making a lot of changes. So hopefully hopefully we're on the right side of that. But we're definitely excited. Jeffrey's been through a lot, here recently, personally, with Lizzie passing away, and I think everybody wants to see him do well. He's a great guy. He's one of the best guys, we've had in our cars. The team loves him, and I think everybody wants to see him come back and have a solid run.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen Jeffrey Earnhardt in the past run up front at drafting style tracks, contend for wins. So hopefully he can do something pretty special at Michigan International Speedway this weekend. Going to look good out there in the Synergy Modular Toyota Supra. Sam, Justin, thank you both so much for being on this show. We'll keep an eye out on your race car this Saturday. Have a wonderful, fantastic weekend. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, thanks, Eric.
Thank you again to Sam and Justin for being on the show. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe for more NASCAR content, commentary, interviews, race recaps, and so much more. And a big thank you to my Patreon supporters. I expect the Richmond penalty report to drop anytime now, so stay tuned for more. I will catch y'all in the next episode. Thanks for watching.